This is the kind of investment a medium-sized company just cannot do. So for senior level, C-level positions, they have to go, they should go, better if they do it, not for all positions, but once in a while, you have to bring someone from different, companies and sectors, just to air and to bring, new perspectives. So if you have aligned both the necessity and the interest, I think it's a match.
What happens in the backstage of an executive search firm? Welcome back to one more episode of Mastering Communication series, episode number 9. Today I have with me a renowned headhunter, entrepreneur, and expert in executive search. Fabio Pereira founded Valium 14 years ago after falling in love with executive search and recruitment business. Today, he's here to break the silence once and for all and reveal all the secrets of recruiters and headhunters. Fabio, welcome to my show. What an honor to have you. Before answering some questions, please share a little bit about yourself and how did you get here?
Hello, Isabelita. It's a pleasure to be here with you. Thank you very much for having me.
It's my pleasure.
Well, just a quick introduction. My name is Fabio Pereira. I'm Brazilian and Portuguese. I've been working in the executive search industry for the last 21 years, and the last 14 of them with my own company, my own executive search and development consultancy firm here in Brazil and Latin America. And right now we are moving abroad to following some of our clients, moving to Europe and the US and a little bit of Africa as well. So I'm here. You can make any question. I'll try to be as honest as
yes,
I can.
Please.
I promise.
You've been very demanded all year long, and finally I managed to get a slot of you. So thank you so much for being here today. Fabio, well, this is a huge demand from the public. People really want to know, no more filters. What happens in the backstage? Why headhunters ghost highly qualified candidates, Fabio?
Well, to be quite honest, Isabelita, in my opinion, it's no other reason than a lack of, how can I put it, in an easy way, organization, to be quite honest. Every time we have a process open and we call the first time our candidates, we are very keen to get in touch with them. We want them to respond our emails or contacts or LinkedIn email very fast because we have a project to deliver. And of course, we've been talking with a lot of professionals at once for only one project, and we are always conducting a lot of projects in every different phases. So what happened is there is this matrix of activities that it's really a lot and very difficult to couple. I'm not giving any excuses. I'm just pointing out and highlighting what actually happens from our perspective. But in the end of the day, it's just a matter of organization. What I usually do...
First time, let's get a hypothetical example. So let's say somebody wants to start reaching out to headhunters because they start looking for a job. So what should they consider when actually identifying and reaching out to headhunters? What should they consider in terms of communication style, what to say and what to consider before reaching out so they can be more successful in their approach?
That's an excellent question, Isabelita. I think there is a homework the candidates should do actually before getting in touch. And it's knowing a little bit about the company, the executive search company, and specifically the consultant they are reaching for. The reason I'm saying that is there are companies focusing in some kinds of industries or consultants inside of them working for a specific industry. So whenever you have a specific knowledge or background, it really helps. I mean, this consultant will be more than happy to get in touch with you. It makes sense. In the other, it makes sense for them because they have to serve their clients and getting to know, the candidates. It's part of the business. And in the other hand, you can always look for someone that it's in your network, let's say a closed network, that knows that specific consultant, and you don't make a cold call, but you make a referral call.
That's a very interesting thing, because it's one of the things actually that I kind of recommend to my clients, that before you go totally as a stranger in your LinkedIn, just send a message, see if in your network you have any mutual connections on LinkedIn. So let's say, Fabio, today, one of my clients wants to talk to you because he saw that you also serve supply chain as an example. So instead of him just going and say, hi, Fabio, I'm looking for an opportunity in supply chain. Hey, Fabio, first come to me, Isabelita, right? So, hey, Isabelita, I noticed on LinkedIn, you are connected to Fabio from Valuing. What do you recommend? And then I can go to you directly if I know you really well, or I can just tell him, use my name to reach out to Fabio. And then, of course, if you want to have some little bit of research about that person, you can always ask me. So he's no longer a stranger. I think that's what you're referring to. Is that right?
That is exactly what I'm referring to, Isabelita. I think there's a preparation, kind of a homework that I would suggest the professionals that you help to make, is that make a broad search of companies and consultants. Let's say 30, why not, before starting the process of getting in touch with one or two, but make it like a searching ground, and you then filter and go through them and looking in your own network, who do you know that knows that specific consultant, and make it through and make some connections. Say, look, this is a very important consultant that I need to get in touch with, and I need him to return my call. So you have to invest energy and search a little bit more. In your example, get in touch with you to get some more information about, in your example, about myself. So this will be very productive. Lovely. And in the end of the day, I think it's the best way. Otherwise, you just be one in a thousand.
Another sales pitch, quote unquote, right? It's another person trying to pitch themselves. Well, actually, this is a real case, right, Fabio? We had some common connections in the past.
Yes.
But they were very lucky to say, Isabelita, I saw you connected to Fabio, and then Fabio was very kind and wanted to come. That's great. Fabio, one more. I have two more very burning desire questions if we have time. So one of them is that I have a lot of executive clients, or at least senior vice president level to C-suite and president and so on. And they really want to shift totally, pivot entirely industries. And this is very, very tricky. So I have a client, he's been like, I'm not going to give his name, but I'm going to give the story. So he's been about 15 to 16 years in aviation, and he aspires to change industries, and he is now considering FMCG. So he's really wondering, how can I make that shift? So of course, there are several things like the identification of mutual connections and reaching out with a good pitch, why they would bring transferable skills, but it's taken time to gain traction. So in your experience, in your 21 plus years of experience from previous, renowned names of executive search firms and with your own firm, what would you say is the best way to handle that, the desire to change industries? And what's the most, let's say, the first step to be able to actually change? What's the first step they must take to get to that destination, which is to change industries?
That's a great question. I'll try to be as honest as possible. And what I actually mean is, of course, I don't believe in barriers. We can all, we're free to move from one company or to the other, sector to the other. Nevertheless, it is a fact that we have a track record, and every time we move, the other side, it has to make sense to make these investments. So imagine yourself or your client deciding to recruit someone that comes from a completely different background than your company is used to. I mean, you would have to make an effort to convince the company, your boss, maybe senior level executives from the company, why that investment makes sense. So some backgrounds, when we look about professionals coming from areas such as finance, IT, legal, supply chain, purchasing, it's easier to move across sectors because they have these, not specialized in industries. They have a broad, they have this, expertise, and
the function itself is not so much
the function itself.
Yes.
So they can quickly, move from one sector to another. Of course, there's always some specifics about that specific, but it's not as hard as, let's say, a production professional or technical, more technical. You have to know about the specific components and the supplies and the machinery. Let's say the commercial, the sales area, marketing is not that easy. So making that point, what I would recommend is they look in their supply chain industry. Say you are one chain of the supply chain, right? So you may be in the beginning or in the end. So what will probably be easier to move is from forward to backward. So if you are in the let's say the middle industry, you can move to your supplier or your client.
Got it.
So that would be easier.
Very interesting.
But in your example, from the let's say
the aviation client that wants to go to, he actually wants to go to toys, to be honest. Within the FMCG, he wants to go to toys, and he is in aviation, in the airlines. So he has this label automatically there because he worked for big Fortune 500 companies in aviation, but he's in supply chain and he is in change management as well. So I do believe there is definitely a transferable skill there that could be added to the new industry, where those who are in that industry don't have that skill. He can bring us innovation. So I think it's trying to do a study case on the companies of interest, and then say, I see what you guys are trying to do, trying to accomplish. I see your vision. So I can bring from my expertise this skill set that you don't currently have for those who have been in your sector itself. So that's how I guide my clients, and that's how I see. But of course, I would love to hear your thoughts about it, and if you do have any further recommendations. So the homework, and what kind of homework those guys should do aside from what we were talking before.
Well, in your example, it's a great example. I mean, what I would begin with would be what he can offer for this specific company, and I would be very specific about that. I would be, as we said before, about making a list of executive search companies. I would make a list of possible companies that he would be interested in. Let's say if he's coming from a big company, and aviation always, they always are, maybe going to a very big international FMCG or toys would be harder, but maybe he could join a smaller, a medium, or someone, because the smaller companies, they don't have the capacity to make their own HR with vast opportunities. So they have to go abroad, they have to go to the market to find good
Lovely.
professionals.
Excellent.
So it could make sense. And then those companies, they could probably be looking for someone
Yes.
with their background to sell their products or their services. So there would be some kind of alignment
Wow.
in both interests. But then again, you have to make this kind of homework. I wouldn't just send your CV.
Yes. No, very, very valuable. Actually, the valuing has a lot of meaning now for me, because it's really very valuable insight. So I actually definitely, I need to share this video with this client, and I'm sure he's going to send you a little note thanking you, because it makes a lot of sense. Because now the smaller companies or mid-size, they would not have the capacity within their own network. So they would be more than willing to take somebody from another sector that brings cross-transferable skills from a 500 Fortune, which they are not there yet because they want to reach that level. So this guy would come with the caliber of saying, I come from a 500 Fortune and I can make you reach to that level to grow your business. So they would see the vision, his caliber. Why bring the guy from another sector? Because of the expertise. But as you said, if it is the same caliber, the same size of company, they might say, we have enough in our network that are within our industry. Why do we need a stranger, right? So that makes a lot of sense.
That's exactly it. Imagine how much investment your professional, your executive professional have already gained in those 500 companies. So through their entire executive life. So this is the kind of investment a medium-sized company just cannot do. So for senior level, C-level positions, they should go, better if they do it, not for all positions, but once in a while, you have to bring someone from different companies and sectors, just to air and to bring new perspectives. So if you have aligned both the necessity and the interest, I think it's a match.
Lovely. I quite like, actually, Fabio, just to conclude, one thing also that you have added. So even when reaching out to headhunting firms, have a list of companies and let them know which companies you'll be able to add value, that you're comfortable to, because that might help the headhunter prospect as well. Is that right? Because if you do receive a high caliber guy saying, I've seen that you are serving one of the, just as the example using, one of the examples, you're serving supply chain as one of your sectors, and I actually would love to reach out to those companies, and this is what I can bring. So a little bit of the value proposition that helps you think, do I have those clients? Can I prospect for those clients? Is that what you basically thought about when you say have a list of companies for the headhunters when reaching out?
Exactly. There is no one-size-fits-all model in our industry. I mean, every consultant of a company, they can mold itself. Let's say a previous company that I worked for, and I helped bring the company to Brazil, Michael Page. So they are very big. They are very positioned in. They do all kind of positions, but they are very divided. So if you are a C-level and you want to work with the FMCG industry and your background in finance, there will be like 5 specific consultants there that can help you. You have to find them and get to know them. In our case, we are a more niche. We have a long-lasting relationship with our clients. It's not that obvious what kind of position we have. So you have to get in touch with us or someone that knows us, such as yourself. You're probably going to have a lot of contact.
Get ready.
Going through. So look, is this helpful? My knowledge is helpful.
Yeah.
So when we know our clients, it's basically big Brazilian companies and mid-international ones. We have good relations with them. So a good professional we can refer, and they probably will interview, and let's see what happens.
Wow.
But you definitely have to know the other side of the bridge.
Mm-hmm. Fabio, look, it's been absolutely amazing. I think we could easy speak for another 2 hours because there's so much more questions that I have, but I know you're very busy, man. You are a businessman, entrepreneur, headhunter, and name it. And you have a business across the globe as well. So I'm sure you don't have that time. It was very hard already to get you on this call today. So let's plan another one for 2023. Whenever you are free, I would love to bring you back and
pleasure.
talk about the unpublished market, published jobs, unpublished jobs. Maybe we can explore a bit more on that part as well. I would really be honored to have you back.
It's my pleasure. I'm happy to help.
And Fabio, if somebody wants to reach out to you, whether it's executive candidate that could match your sectors, or whether it's a company wanting to hire your services, how can they find you? What's the best way to reach out?
I think you can share my contacts. I know you have a very specific and very high level.
Can we give your LinkedIn profile? Share the link here.
You do definitely.
Great.
Sure thing.
We'll do that. So we don't have to expose your contact details. And of course, your website. Good. Fabio, so thank you so much for coming to this show. It's been absolutely honored to have you. And I wish you a wonderful already year of 2023 ahead.
Thank you very much, Isabelita. Always a pleasure talking to you. And I'll be waiting for your call for the next year then.
Absolutely. So thank you so much, everybody, for being here today. It's been an absolutely pleasure to have our special guest, Fabio Pereira. I hope you have learned and being able now to go ahead and create your own reality, go there and land the next job, just practice more and more, stay positive, think of your goal, don't think about anything else aside from your goal, be that reality creator and bend the matrix. Until next time, stay blessed.